Welcome, friends, to another, I normally say erotic episode.
I didn't know it was going to be an erotic episode.
Oh,
I didn't know that either.
They're
It was
always
probably
erotic
dressed a little
episodes.
differently.
They're semi-erotic episodes of a Crept from the 80s. We are back with our friends. They come back and forth out of time. You know, they are time travelers, so you never know when they're gonna pop back in 2020.
2020.
2020 now.
It's not possible.
That's right. So Carrie and Ruby are here. Yay!
Yay!
They're back.
We're here.
Hi.
So I'm gonna really give it to the girls this episode, and
Give it. This is an erotic episode.
I told you
Stay tuned.
we gotta deliver. We got to deliver. There's gonna be plenty of good times and moans and passionate erotic
Actually,
80s
That's
stuff.
probably factual.
So
People are already moaning and groaning like, oh.
get on with it. Let's
Specify
do
what
the
kind.
erotic stuff. I'm here for the 80s erotica. All right,
Great.
so yeah, we're going
Off
to
to a
talk
promising
about.
start.
So anyway, so I've been doing this kind of. The last few episodes I've done have been focused on a particular television show or something or other that I quite enjoyed.
So your Facts of Life one, that was great.
Yes, that's right. Like Facts of Life. I did Misfits of Science that's going to be going up. And I'm going to be doing that. And I think I want to do that with the ladies of Crept from the 80s.
Oh my god, this is so good. Amazing.
So I want to get, Ruby, Carrie, I want to get your favorite 80s television show of all time. Something that you can't live without in your dotage right now. You know, as you're growing older but staying younger. What have you kept, TV-wise, that you you'll never give up? Also, cartoon-wise. And I know there's a lot of stuff out there. Believe me.
Yeah.
It is very tough for me to pinpoint a favorite or... because I'll end up with 10 or 11 that I can't live without. But
I feel like that's how it always goes anyways. We start
Right,
with
like
one
a
or
10.
two, and then by the time we're done, we've
which
talked
is
about
fine.
30 different
It is
shows.
fine.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to pinpoint that thing that if you were stranded on a desert planet, what
On a desert planet.
That's right, out there in the Milky Way.
Is it covered in desserts? The desert of desserts?
I would prefer that
Me too.
rather than desert because you know
Same.
what? Sand is so coarse. I hate sand.
And it's so chalky when you try to eat it.
Yeah,
So
and it gets everywhere.
Gets right in. Yeah, it's hard to get
not
out
good.
of it.
So I mean, I guess who do you want? You want to start, Ruby? You want to start off with your favorite television show from the 80s that you can't live without?
Oh, okay. Is it? Am I starting with my cartoon or my
Just
live
do
action?
We'll do live action,
Okay.
cartoon.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool. Yes, I would be delighted. My favorite really wasn't hard for me to kind of pin that down. Although, of course, there are many shows from the 80s that I appreciate and I love and, you know, still have that passion for to this day. But there is just always going to be the one that stands out as my favorite of all time. And that is Punky Brewster. Punky Brewster.
Is that also yours?
That was.
I thought
It's
that
funny.
was gonna be yours.
That was my second. That's not my first. So
Okay.
that's
Okay.
good.
Good to know. Okay, good.
It's on my list.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and again, this is, you know, it's tough, right? Because there's so many, but like there are, I just identified with Punky.
Well, you were an orphan kid. You
I
know,
was not,
living on
so,
the
and this is
streets
what I was going to
and,
say, is that,
With a
no,
dog
I,
named Brandon.
I was in
R.I.P.
my,
Brandon.
Pardon, Carrie.
okay, so what I was
Ruby.
going to say was, no, I was not an orphan, I was not adopted like she was, but
Ruby.
I did not identify in that technical sense, okay, Chris?
Yeah.
Ugh. But what I mean by that is that, you know, she obviously had, you don't see all of this really, you don't see so much of the dark parts, but I can, you know, that's got to be a tough life to live and you know, past to have. And that's not something I can relate to, but I identified with her in that you know, you never really see her. She just always has this bright light shining from her. She always has this, you know, positive, you know, kind of infectious personality. That's why people just gravitated to her in the show, because she just, you know, just like, I hate to be all like hippy dippy, but like she just emanated peace and love, and you know, she just felt, it just felt like she was just someone you were just drawn to. And I remember thinking as a kid myself, speaking about me specifically, it was like, I wish I could be best friends with her. Mm-hmm. Like, I would love to be best friends with her. It would be so cool to hang out. I feel like we would have the best time because I just wanted to be around her. Like, that energy was infectious to me. So I felt like as I'm looking at her and admiring her, I was like, that's someone I want to be. Like, I want to be the type of person that people want to be around. And so it started to almost craft my character a little bit and my personality as I got older.
Certainly the fashion.
And
you must
yes,
have,
that's the next
You must have been
thing.
all about, I mean, she was fashion forward.
Yeah.
Ruby's still known to wear a bandana around her leg from time to time.
Right.
It's very true. You know, what's funny about that is that I did dress up as Punky for Halloween one year.
Aww.
I did as a younger kid, and I'm actually looking to repeat that as an adult. Because I know Soleil Moon Frye actually did that. Mm-hmm. She, not too long ago, she dressed up as Punky, as like adult version of her, but as the character that she played, which was freaking awesome. So,
that's cool.
Yes, that was my next topic of why I loved Punky so much, or reason, rather, why I liked her so much, is that I didn't really know anyone, you know, obviously in, like, the media and TV and all of that type of world that dressed like her. Like, she kind of had her own thing.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved that, and it really kind of sparked a lot of my obsession with 80s fashion, and how I really didn't feel like there were rules. Like, I feel like in the fashion world, there are all these rules of, like, what looks good together, blah, blah, blah. And she just, like, obliterated all of those. And it was mismatched colors, and it was, you know, mislength pants, right? And the bandana around the knee. Like, who does that, right? And to me, that just was, like, I adore that. I'm like, I love that she's breaking all the rules. And she makes it work. Like, she looks great. Like, how do you look so awesome in that outfit? So, yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, I would say that that's why Punky just stands out in my head, because she just stands out as a character. Mm-hmm. And she really kind of crafted a lot of who I grew into be as I got older. So,
did you did you get into the cartoon that came out? It's Punky Brewster cartoon?
Yeah. No.
Was that? Oh, no.
I didn't.
Oh, all right.
I didn't. I tried, and I probably should have given it more of an honest shot, but I'm here's the thing, I'm very picky and choosy about with spin-offs like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm very particular. Like, you really have to give me something. I'm not saying it has to be exactly like the live action version, but I didn't feel like that. It didn't give me the same vibe, the same feeling. It was all
Glomer, right? You hated Glomer. You're like, who is this mystical creature hanging out with Punky?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yes. So it didn't do it for me. It didn't do it. No shots fired at the cartoon version, but, you know, the live action will always have a piece of my heart. No shots fired. Or maybe shots fired at it. Maybe. A little bit.
What are your thoughts on Punky coming back?
I'm so thrilled about that. I'm so thrilled about that. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. There's been some of this, like, I know, like, Full House came back, right, to Netflix, mm-hmm. and you know, I feel like they really, I haven't watched it all the way through, but, like, I've seen, like, the first few episodes, and I was like, wow, they really found a way to take, like, you know, what it would be like current day and still make it feel like Full House.
Yes.
Like, the feeling was the same, which was, I love that.
I've said that, too, like, because there's people who just watched the first episode and were like, no thanks. Uh-huh. And I get it, because that first episode is all fan service. It is winks and nods and, oh, here comes this person, and oh, and they said this and they said
it's
that.
It's like a reintroduction,
But then after that, it's just like a continuation of Full House. Yes. It really is.
They did do that really well.
And
I can't stop watching it. So it's one of those shows where I think if I hadn't watched it when I was a kid, I would well, clearly, I probably wouldn't have any interest in watching it now.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't stop watching Fuller House.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. So
It is good.
that gives me hope that Punky's gonna be
Yeah.
freaking awesome. So I'm really,
Yeah,
really
Saved by the
excited.
Bell is coming back too. I don't know if you guys
didn't
saw
I didn't
that.
know that.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
they just posted a video. Mario Lopez,
Who has
Elizabeth
not aged
Berkley,
a
Oh my god,
day.
he looks so freaking good. It's crazy.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen, and Mark Paul Gosling. They're
my
all.
God.
Are they
and
going to have these jackets, though?
I don't know, but
I'll be disappointed
they were
if they
shooting in the Max.
Love that. Well,
They posted video of them shooting the first episode in the Max.
I love that.
And he was there. And yeah, I don't know.
That's
It's
exciting.
pretty neat. I guess Zack is he's like the mayor or something like that.
That's hysterical, but you know, I'm
Kind of
not.
makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not totally surprised.
And I think Jesse and Slater are together.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
I think.
I think we all wanted that anyway.
So-
Who's going to be the new Belding?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
Well, I think he's
Is he?
Belding
on the
has
show,
not
but I don't
retired
think
yet?
he's like the principal.
Right.
But I think he's going to be
Well,
showing up
yeah.
on the show. But who do I don't know. He could be.
What's
You
the
know?
deal with Screech? Is he gonna be?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Alright.
But I know those guys are. So that's interesting, you know. And I guess it's them and their kids going to Bayside and
Love that.
all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of all of this. I love this.
Yeah, hopefully,
living for it. So yeah, I'm excited about Punky's reboot.
Sweet. All right, Carrie.
Yep,
We got
turn.
Punky.
All right. I'm surprised that you don't know.
I think I do know. I think it has to do with rock and roll
It does. So
and
My-
instruments.
my ultimate favorite TV show from the 80s is Kids Incorporated.
Oh yes.
Everybody look around, hear the sound. Something special's gonna come your way. We got something that is new, that is true. We got something just for you today. All around the nation, whoa, with a new sensation. Have you heard? Have you heard? Have you heard? We're Kids Incorporated. K-I-D-S, yeah. Kids Incorporated. K-I-D-S. Oh, looks like we made it. We're Kids Incorporated.
I can't even
Solid.
begin to
Solid
explain. Like, I can't describe. It's nostalgia. I see that show to this day, and yes, I do still watch it. So I have all of the. My parents recorded it on VHS tapes, like off of TV.
Yes.
And I have maybe 14 or 15 tapes that I do still watch from time to time.
amazing.
Because
That's
it was
good.
obviously never released on
No,
DVD
no,
because
it's-
of copyright
Yeah,
issues.
I
But
don't think it ever will.
I started watching that show every Saturday morning when I was about 4 years old, and I watched it until it ended, basically.
Did you?
I did. I didn't like it as much when
Yeah.
it went to Disney, and it was
Yeah.
all new characters.
Yeah,
I felt very
ended.
betrayed. But yeah, those early years from maybe like 84 to like 86, 87,
Yeah.
it was my
That's around the
world.
time I was watching it too. Yeah.
I've been trying to think like what I loved about it so much. Obviously it incorporated music, and I always from a young age I tapped into like the emotions behind music. I don't know why, I don't know where that came from, but I always was able to relate to music even if it was like above my age, like over my head a lot of times.
Weird Al.
Yeah, Weird Al.
Eat it. Yeah, I can relate to that. I get it.
I can so
get the
relate to Eat
emotion
It.
I remember
behind it.
I remember certain
Like a
songs
surgeon.
though. I remember certain songs making me
Yes.
like feel like homesick or making me feel like really sad, even though I couldn't relate to the song.
Or
Like
like-
when Mickey left the show, I remember crying, and
Yeah,
they played
but
this really sad song.
They
and
made
I'm
up
like,
for it.
yeah, with Ryan Lambert.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think that was one of the first shows where I really got like invested in the characters and the storyline, and I wanted to be them. Like, I wanted to be on Kids Incorporated, and
it was I mean, it was a really like cool show for kids, man. Like, it was like, wow, look at these dope kids solving mysteries and rocking the mic, you know? Like, how cool. That is like...
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And the way it was done, too, I mean, for kids, you don't often have, like, a really... I didn't have a large attention span, so it was perfect. It was like, 25-minute show, and it was like, you know, a little segment about what was going on, and then you'd have the music, and then you would go back to a little segment. I mean, it was perfect, perfectly done.
Like, kids TV in the 80s as a whole just nailed that, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I loved it. I adored the characters. I wanted to be the characters. I loved the music. I wanted to be... I would literally, it sounds so cheesy, but I remember going to bed at night just like fantasizing about, you know, growing up and being on Kids Incorporated or being like a rock star.
Hey man, we all did.
They weren't even playing the instruments, and I'm like, I want to be like that. Yeah, that's...
There's some serious talent on that show.
I liked, I liked the first 5 seasons, and then I was out.
Yeah.
After they really started changing the guard, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't like all these. Now, because as we got older, they brought in younger.
Yes.
So it was like, who are these kids? You know? For me, anyway. I was kids? Like, what the? You know?
It was like that feeling, like I said, I felt like betrayed. I'm like, you don't belong here.
Yeah.
But I was even a member of the Kids Incorporated fan club. And, man, now that I'm talking about it, I was a very emotional kid. I came home from school, and there was this envelope, and I was like, I don't know, like 6 or 7. I didn't get a lot of mail directly to me, unless it was like a birthday card. Yeah. And I had this envelope, I'll never forget. This envelope was sitting there, and my parents were like, hey, you got mail? And I'm like, wait, what is this? And they're like, do you see where it's from? And I'm reading the address, and it still wasn't clicking to me. I'm like, I don't know. They're like, just open it. And it was a picture of Kids Incorporated. It was an official Kids Incorporated fan club, like, certificate. A button. I cried. Yeah. I remember. Oh, yeah. And I remember, like, being so confused with that emotion because I was so happy, but I was crying. And I'm like, why am I crying? Like, this is, So. That's awesome. I was so in that show.
So dope.
Other than, like, Martika, who were your favorite characters?
Yeah, so if you've watched some of the previous Crepts, I definitely talk my love for Martika. But Stacy.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so originally, Mickey was my favorite. The character Mickey, but he was only on for, I believe, the first season.
Yeah.
And then he moved away. And I was heartbroken. And then I think it shifted to Stacy being my favorite. And for those that are watching that don't know this, Stacy from Kids Incorporated is actually Stacy Ferguson, aka Fergie, from like the Black Eyed Peas. That blew my mind.
That you quoted.
I know,
Black Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed Peas.
Black Eyed Peas.
I guess that
Not
probably
real.
didn't need to be the Black Eyed Peas. I'm a little free with my air quotes.
So good.
Yeah, so they were my favorite. I did like Ryan. As I got older, I got into Ryan Lambert because I found him to be pretty attractive.
Well, and he was fighting monsters as he got older. He was destroying the evil doers.
Yeah. Such a cool kid back then.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, those are 2 on my list for sure. Like, they are top 80s kids television right there.
Primo.
And I always add them to Saturday Morning Sleepover. It's a tradition now. It wouldn't be a Saturday Morning Sleepover without those 2.
Very true.
Okay, so let's shift to the animated world. Ruby, why don't we get your
Don't yell at me.
favorite animated 80s television show?
Also,
I think I know what this one is.
You definitely do. Also, not a difficult choice to pick the one. Although, again, there are many. But my favorite, to this day, really, I have the box set at home. To this day, it is my favorite. It still holds up for me. And it'll live in infamy in my heart forever and ever. Gem and the Holograms. My favorite animated cartoon from the 80s. So many reasons why.
I would expect the very biggest reason is because she's truly outrageous.
She is truly outrageous. And yes, but I like to peel away layers. I'm very, very deep when I say I like something. There's so many like reasons why. So, I don't know what this is about, but it's okay.
We're just being expressive with our hands. And the air quoter, she's like,
can't you see them? So, I think, first off, I think definitely, let me just lead with the fashion, right? Because I have to lead with that. Because, everyone, I think the tendency is kind of like, oh my god, look at Gem and her outfits. Obviously, she's the rock star, and like, with the pink hair and the layered cut and the cool makeup and like her outfits and stuff. And of course, like, yeah, she looked freaking cool in whatever she put on. And everything was so just, like, cool. Like, she just had this, obviously a rock star style. So it's very easy to just kind of go to her first. But I'm not going to, like, put Jerrica in the back seat because her stuff was also freaking amazing. And I loved the, like, beret and like the striped, like short little mini dress and, all of the stuff that I just feel like it looked so effortless for them to just kind of be, and of course it's animated, but of course as a kid, I'm looking at it as real people, right? Yeah. But I just learned a lot about like, what my taste was just from watching that show, what I really liked, what I gravitated to. And similar to what, like, the whole punky thing is that they just kind of, like, didn't really care about the rules about, what fashion should look like, and they kind of made up their own. And that is a reoccurring theme in my life. Like, I obviously don't like rules. So, if you can't tell, by now.
Either.
So, definitely a lot of inspiration there on the fashion side from that show. Looking a little bit deeper. Okay, not yet. Going a little bit more shallow, and then I'll go deeper. Of course, it's every girl's dream to be like, like a singer rock star, like on a stage, like what you were saying with Kids Incorporated, same idea. Like, I looked at Gem and the Holograms, and I was like, oh my god, they're so cool. They're all girls. Like, that's the one thing too, like, they're an all-girl band. And you don't get to, and they're all really good at what they do, and there's no guys. Like, and I think at the time it was kind of like you weren't used to seeing that, right. And they were all badass, so it was like, I think for me, can I say that? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I think for me, it was just being able to see, like these, kind of strong, really skilled, talented women just like like being the owners of their own domain. I just really loved that. And then now going a little bit deeper, the whole, like Jerrica and Gem, like obviously being the same person, but what I really appreciated was like, you look at Jerrica and she's also like this kind of image of like female empowerment because like she owns Starlight Records, and then she's got Starlight House where she's giving back and, she's helping these young girls and, and it's just, to me, it's like, she's the one, like, she owns it. Like, she's a super strong, successful woman, and then she's a rock and roll star, like, whenever she feels like it. And that, to me, was just the coolest thing.
And thwarts evil.
And it just made me, yes, exactly.
She's the whole package.
She's the whole package. And I think for me, as a young girl watching this show, it communicated a lot of underlying, really positive, strong messages to me in that you can be whatever the hell you want. And you don't necessarily have to expect to see a man in a position of power. As females, you are just as capable. You can, technically you can be talented, you could be creative, you could be a boss, you could be, you could own, you could, be a CEO, you could, run a charity, you could do whatever you wanted. So, and also rock out. So I was just like, well, that's me all day. Like, and to this day that's really kind of, inadvertently, I guess, really kind of shaped a lot of the way that I think, because I'm still to this day, I'm pretty much Gem and Jerk. I do have a very creative side of me, and a lot of my projects really reflect that creativity. And then I own two businesses, so it's like, you know, I kind of grew, and I'm just realizing, this is epiphany right now. I'm just realizing that I grew up to be
You're Gem.
I'm Gem. Except for the rock star part, never landed that.
Still rock though.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
It's
that's
coming.
from the heart. Yeah,
It's coming.
yeah, sure. Okay. Anything's possible. That's what I learned from Gem and the Holograms. But I think to kind of sum it up in summary and summation, I don't know why I said so many times. Some. That's, I think, why I really, really love Gem. And also all the original songs were all gold. Loved all of the original music. Every time they cut to a video, I was so excited. I was like, yes. And I'd be like, dancing, yes. Singing into my fake mic.
Awesome.
And I thought I was going to be a singer actually because of that show. I started singing along to all the songs and learned all the songs from the shows. And, you know, thought that was going to be my career path. It did not pan out that way. But it's still, you know, something that's a real big part of me, and that my connection to music also kind of came from that in very similar shows. And, you know, that never went away. So, yeah.
Yeah, I always gravitated to that show because of the science fiction element of it.
Yeah, totally.
I just thought it was
I didn't
cool
get to talk
that
about synergy, I know.
She used synergy
Yeah.
to, change.
It was really cool, yeah.
And
With the earring
I
and
like
everything, I just thought that was so
Earring.
dope. Yes.
I like the Misfits, of course.
Yes.
I did too.
Yeah.
They were the villains, but I actually really liked
They
them.
still ruled, yeah.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Yeah.
Used to have Gem and the Hologram sneakers. They were high tops. They were pink and they were glittery.
Yes.
And I wish they made them in adult sizes.
And they turned you into a rock star.
A rock star.
Unfortunately,
Did it
not.
have a little button like the earring? Oh, that would be cool. I actually did have a Gem doll, and it was my favorite toy. I got it for my 6th birthday.
Yeah, they came with tapes, didn't they?
They
came with, like,
did.
cassette tapes.
Not the one I got,
Oh, man.
I think I got a bootleg
think
one.
they
I think
did.
they did.
but you're probably right.
Wow.
But yeah, definitely Synergy is definitely. I didn't mean to skip over her. Synergy, I love you.
Yeah.
You're my fave. Yeah, that whole part of it too, just being, and I think that's also the whole thing. It was like, hey, you can switch back and forth to be whatever you want, you know?
How did you feel when they tried to do that live action movie?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I mean, why would you? You know what I mean? Like,
I-
just the look of it was
I
like,
was
what
very-
is this?
I was not impressed with the trailer.
Mm.
I was not impressed with the direction that they chose. I feel like it didn't, you know, I'm okay with modernizing things,
Yeah, you used
but
it.
to modernizing, but to a degree, like, please keep true to the essence. Like, I'm still like, please don't destroy like what the original was, and I feel like they did that. So even though I haven't seen it, and at some point I will, because I cannot talk about it if I haven't seen it, right? But I'm not thrilled, and I don't have high expectations because based on, you know, what they showed us in the trailer. So yeah, the whole like YouTube star thing, I was like, that's now.
She's an influencer now.
Yeah,
Is that
Not
what she
Gem.
is?
that's not Gem exactly. So yeah,
They didn't have the balls to do Gem, you know? To bring in those
Yeah.
crazy elements and
yes,
the transformation thing and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And no, they gotta ruin it. They always gotta ruin it. They gotta make it now. Kids don't understand changing and transformations. They don't understand.
oh really?
I was gonna say that's.
They won't understand synergy.
That's poppycock.
Poppycock.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
That's a tough act to follow, right there.
Right?
I
Not to set you up for failure. But no, you're gonna. I'm sure you've got.
No, mine's not deep like that. So I struggled more with the cartoons than I did the TV show. The TV show immediately I knew, and it had like a big impact on me. As far as cartoons, I initially was leaning towards Masters of the Universe, but the more I thought about it, I think I was more into the toys than the cartoon. I was a Tom. Here we go with the air. I didn't realize how often I do this until
Now you're aware of that.
I was a tomboy.
Which is not a real
It was
thing.
not a real thing. I was a girl that liked toys that
were for
anyone
boys.
could have liked. Yeah.
Unisex.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know, there's so many that I watched, but I think the one that I loved the most, and I don't really have a reason for why I loved it, was the Get Along Gang.
Get along gang, each one so special in his own way. Montgomery's the leader and he's such a good sport. But get along gang, there's Wilma and Dottie with the spirit. Bingo, the prankster doesn't ruin it. Logical Portia will figure it out. And last is there by the lead machine. Get up with the Get Along gang. Come on, their adventures don't end. Get up with the Get Along gang. Get up with the Get Along gang. Their clubhouse caboose on its way. Get up with the Get Along gang. Get up.
Okay.
If I think about a cartoon that I watched consistently, and that to this day, if I see a clip of it or if I watch an episode, it still gives me some of that like little nostalgia feeling. It's the Get Along Gang. I don't know why. I don't know what was so special about it to me at the time. Maybe it was just the age that I was when I started watching it and how I connected to like the characters. But I remember collecting the stuffed animals, and that was a big thing for me. It's kind of connected to some Christmas memories for me, like opening up. One Christmas I got all of the dolls, which was huge. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a tough act to follow, Ruby, is because I don't have this like in-depth, like this onion of reasons why I like the Get Along Gang. And
I just have a lot of reasons why. I have a lot of feelings. So
yeah.
Yeah.
But there was, it was really tough for me to pick a cartoon show that was my favorite, because there were so many that I watched. Like, I could probably talk for the next hour about all the cartoons that I loved, but
like, to your point, too, like, there are others I really loved, and I don't know that I could really tell you why. Like, I loved Fraggle Rock.
Yeah.
Yes,
But I don't know that I could sit here and list to you the reasons why. I just loved it. It's the feeling attached to it.
Yes.
It's the nostalgia attached
That's
to it.
what it is.
And I think that's all, that's enough, you know. Same thing with Today's Special. Is up there. Is up there as one of my favorite live action shows. I loved Today's Special. I would drop everything that I was doing when that show came on. And again, don't really know. Maybe it is the transformation thing. Going from a mannequin to a live person, and, the best that they could do that back in the 80s, right? But I love the idea of him coming alive and then, like, them hanging out in this retail store after hours, and I don't know, it just, it was fun. It was fun, and I just have really deep nostalgia feelings attached to it. Could I really tell you deep reasons why?
Yeah.
No.
It's even if I try to think about it, because I'm thinking about Kids Incorporated, and another cartoon I used to watch a lot of was Scooby-Doo, and I felt very connected to the characters. But I think something about the friendships was appealing to me, because I was an only child. So, I didn't have like a lot of like close cousins or anything like that. So it was pretty much just me and maybe like a couple neighborhood kids that I was around a lot. But something about that like cohesiveness and that like group of friends always spoke to me. Like, I always wanted that, because I always wanted siblings when I was growing up. And the whole thing with the Get Along Gang, now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, that's what that show was based on, was their friendships and their code to like always be there for each other and be good friends. And so I guess there's like one layer. Now we're getting there. Now we're getting there.
We're peeling
it's
the
like
onion.
talk therapy. The more I'm talking, the more it's starting to come out. By the end of the show, I'll be crying.
You know what's crazy about that show? It was like this a lot for kid shows. There was only one season, but they reran that show all the time.
Yes.
That's interesting, because like as I got older, when I would go back and maybe as the series were coming out on DVD or when I was like looking into the shows that I loved again as I got older, I was always surprised to see how many episodes there were of certain shows, because it was so prominent,
right.
Like I always I always bring up the live act, like Salute Your Shorts.
Salute Your Shorts.
That was only 24 episodes, but it felt like there were
Wow.
65
Felt
episodes.
a lot longer. Yeah.
It was 2 seasons, and that's it.
Wow.
But man, did they rerun that shit. You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot happened in that.
He-Man, there were a lot of episodes, but it felt like a lot longer.
Right.
It felt like it was a 6-year
No, I mean,
you know?
like, I feel
But
like
it really
a lot
wasn't.
happened in that short time frame.
Yeah.
Well, I think that speaks to being a kid too, because time, in my experience, it changes as you get older. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I think of, you know, being certain ages, and it seems like that I was that age forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like time, I think, went a lot slower for me back then. Now, like, as I'm getting older, it's like, whoa, what just happened? Like, where did the past 5 years go?
Oh my god, jeez.
So yeah, I guess that makes sense. Because when I'm thinking about Get Along Gang, I remember watching it, or at least in my head, I remember watching it for years.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But if there was only one season, I don't know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
There's the moans you were waiting for.
There it is.
There's the erotica you were reading.
There's the
Even
story you
more.
were waiting for.
Some weird fetish guy out there really loved that.
That's why I got the pound puppy. We'll get
You're
to
welcome.
that later,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
So,
Puppies.
I guess, you know, I brought up, like, before the show, to Carrie that He-Man is coming back this year in a big way. Like, there isn't any anniversary or anything. It's just the franchise is just coming back. There's 2 new cartoons coming. There's a motion picture coming. There's all the toys, and they're redoing the toys now, but with more articulation. And they're called Masters of the Universe Origins. But is there something like that where you wish it would sort of come back? And while you know it's for kids now, they're also making it for the big kids who grew up with it.
Yeah.
So they have to change it a little bit. But so is there something that you think they could get away with that would be sort of okay for both, you know? Like, Masters definitely lends itself, because there could be kids who see this stuff and are like, wow, who are these, you know, dope, weird monsters and, you know, mystical dudes with swords and stuff. But I mean, what do you think would work like that? And it's interesting to see what has sort of stayed, like Transformers,
Right.
the Turtles. They're always reinventing these things. Is there something that you think, you know what, we could use this, and it would be good?
Oh, that's a really tough question.
Like, do you think Gem would work?
If
No.
they did, if
mean,
they
they
did
tried it.
on that scale.
Yeah, if they really, like, not the movie, like,
Yeah,
forget the
yeah,
movie,
yeah,
but
put that
if they
on my mind.
really tried to reinvent, but also keep the elements that were
Right.
great for the, 40-somethings.
I mean, my initial gut reaction is, yeah, sure, you can do anything, right? With, with the right writing and the right creativity and the right, knowledge and really deep dive, like break it down like a science, the original show. Yeah, I do think so. In short.
Right.
Here's the thing. I think a lot of, we're now in a place where you didn't really have to live in that time frame anymore to appreciate it today, because of all of these, kind of bringing back, even Star Wars was originally 70s, 80s, right? So, but there's kids now who adore it, thank you to Disney, right? So, same thing with Transformers, and like you said, Ninja Turtles. And all this stuff is coming back, and it's almost like reliving it all
Yes.
over again,
Yeah.
but yet with a modern twist. So I don't think it's impossible to almost take anything, you know, and do that, because we've seen it done already.
I don't think the Get Along Gang would hold up today.
no. Well, I mean, I guess
That's why I said almost anything.
You know what though? Like that would probably be like a Nick Kids show or a Disney
Yeah.
Kids. You know, like
Yeah.
because they did bring back Muppet Babies,
True.
but they brought it back in
And
a
Care
way
Bears.
that I don't think for me. It's not
Yeah.
for me anymore.
Same.
But they change. I mean, it's changed so that it is for the little kids of today.
Yeah.
So that they're digging it, which is cool, which is very cool. It doesn't have that cross pollination like Masters does or Transformers or anything like that. But it is interesting what kind of works and what doesn't. I guess we'll find out. I mean, certainly with the live action stuff, if Saved by the Bell and Punky is gonna resonate.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like, is it truly just for us?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and if that's the case, is it gonna work? I mean, for me, it might.
Right.
You know.
I just think that if there's any time to do it, it's now while it's
Right.
hot.
Yeah. Oh,
You
for
know?
sure. I mean, the '80s have never been bigger since
true.
the '80s.
Yeah, 80s and 90s.
You
I
know?
mean, that's...
It's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like we were talking about earlier with Fuller House, I mean, that has worked. It
Yeah.
appeals to a younger crowd that might not have ever even seen Full House, and then it appeals to our generation. So
Yep.
that I think they nailed it with that. So
I agree.
suppose it's
Also, I think what's
possible.
pretty cool is I think a lot of us are now becoming executives. You know, in that generation, so they're like, you know what, I'm gonna bring back this, and I'm gonna bring back this, and why don't we have this anymore? You know.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I guess anything that is keeping the '80s alive is okay in my book. You
Yeah.
know, whether it's for me or not, because I want as many kids to sort of be bombarded with what we were bombarded with. I mean, it really was, and I've said it so many times. It was the greatest pop culture decade of all time. It really was.
Yeah.
To this day, we're aping everything that came out of that decade, you know? And it's powerful. It's magical.
It's glorious.
It is magical.
It's passionate.
magical.
And it's
Speaks
erotic.
to that feeling,
It's erotic.
right?
It is that feeling, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're talking about seeing the friggin' covers, you know, the cases, the packaging. Like, it just, boom.
It's a feeling.
Time travels you
It
back
is.
to...
Yeah.
It's like a time machine.
It's
We
insane.
were, before we started filming, Chris and I were talking, because he's got a lot of toys in this room. One of them being like the Nintendo Entertainment System in the original box, but the other one is the Punky Brewster doll. And I had that growing up. I remember opening it for Christmas. But if I was to see it outside of the box, it wouldn't have had as much of an impact on me as seeing it in the box, because there was something about like unwrapping that and that feeling that I had. So it's just, it is magical.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I can't do it like you can.
Okay. Okay. Ruby. This was great.
So good.
See?
Yeah.
A memory lane. That's what the
Yeah.
show is all about. And then we can cry afterwards.
I'm left with a smile.
'Cause
Though.
it's just
I've
not
got
the
like this
same.
like permagrin right now.
But you can understand why I want to stay here, guys. You know? Why I continuously hold on to it.
Yeah.
It's just...
Tasty.
It's never going
So
to be
tasty.
that way again, but I'm trying my damnedest to keep it that way. to keep those memories alive.
Keep it alive.
You're
You're spreading
You're
the
doing
magic.
great.
So the
Chris,
show
you're
will
spreading the
continue.
magic.
Saturday morning sleepover will continue as long as
Yes.
people come.
I will
I'm so
always-
happy.
Is that a zing at me, Chris?
No, no, no.
Oh, wow.
Just making
No, it
sure.
wasn't.
All
No,
right.
you've only missed a couple.
I know.
You know? You guys have been
Pretty
fantastic.
good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that some of the original gang is going to be here this coming up one. So it's
Ooh,
great. I'm so
fun.
happy. So happy.
Amazing.
Because I love it. You know, not just... I don't just love watching all the content. I love being with the group where we can also laugh at it and also groan at it. And,
That's the fun part.
It's just a lot of fun, and we're all experiencing it again
Yeah.
for the first time.
Yeah.
So I like it. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the people who come to it. And I know it can be a chore. It is a chore.
It's not a chore. I don't think it's a chore.
It's a lot. You gotta have that.
You need stamina.
Yeah, you gotta be a special person.
But you do a good job of like taking, breaks and snack break, a little drink break.
I can't think of anything else that would really hold my attention for that long. Like even watching certain movies back to back, I could do it and enjoy it, but there's something about the Saturday morning sleepovers that, like 10 or 11 hours can pass and I'm like, this is fun.
Yeah. Like I'm not sick of this at all.
I mean, thankfully, it's the commercials help. The music videos help.
I think it also helps too, like
taking some
you
of the
said.
cartoons out. That helps.
Yeah. I think it also helps like being in a room of people who also appreciate it as much as you,
Yeah.
Definitely.
And you're all just enjoying it together. It's great.
Yeah, I could do it any day of the week, and I think about it, but I'm like, oh, it's just not as fun without the people.
Yeah.
The commentary.
Yes.
It's great. And some of the stuff, it's fun to hear, like, the oohs and gasps from people who are like, oh, I don't even...
Right.
This was so long ago.
Yeah.
Holy shit. They hear that song, and it brings them back, and I like seeing that reaction, too. Or, oh, my God, I remember this. And that's fun. That's fun.
And I still get all like excited when you put on an episode of Kids Incorporated. You can see, like, even if I'm, starting to get to that tired point, I will automatically, like, it's like a visceral reaction. I, like, sit up and I'm like,
That's how I feel about Punky, too.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a Punky. Always going to be a Kids Incorporated.
Yes.
My turn around.
Yes. I love
That's
that
great. Oh my gosh, this is so good. This is an 80s love fest. And
it is an 80s love fest.
This was good, guys.
Erotic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For giving us your memories.
Thank you for
and memories
having us.
of the 80s.
The memories.
That's the erotic part, guys. The memories of the 80s. So, all right. Well, we're going to go, at least for me, I'm going to go cry and wish that I was still living in the 80s. And but thank you for joining, everybody. Please, do what the young kids do and hit subscribe if you like the video. Tell your friends who are 80s loving nostalgic freaks. Come on by and give us a shot. You may just like it. So thanks. Thank you, Ruby. Thank you, Carrie. Yay!